What is up, everybody? This is John here at metalaviation.com, and it's good to be back here in the Metal Aviation World Headquarters studio. We went on a little road trip to Pittsburgh, shot some videos, and been working on the website. Not totally done yet, but hopefully we'll have it ironed out here. Quick FYI for all the members who've been signing up, the build videos for the PDF plans are not up yet. We're still in the process of getting those complete. The plans are up there. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll help you out. We should have the build videos up hopefully by the end of this week or next week. Hang tight. Again, any questions, shoot me an email. Hollywood@metalaviation.com, and I'll get back to you and help you out. So really quick today, what I wanted to do is give you a quick sneak peek of the EMB 312 Turboprop, or the 312 Tucano. I've seen it called a few different names. I'm just going to stick with the 312 Turboprop because that's what I've always seen it referred to as. So I just want to give you a quick rundown of how I have it set up, a couple of the design techniques I used, and some alternative ways to install your servos. Well, the first things I want to show you is it's not a standard profile. I'm not a huge, get the old do out of the way. What I did is I laminated 8 pieces together here to give it some width. It's not as wide as a regular fuselage would be, but it's wide enough that it looks good and it doesn't have that cheesy profile look. And that width is exactly the width of the battery I'm going to use. And that eliminates one of the problems I don't like about profiles, is you have to figure out some way to Velcro or strap the battery onto the side of the plane, and it always looks kind of goofy with a big battery on the side of it. So now that my fuse has some width, what I can do is carve out a spot in the fuselage to slide my battery into it. And the cool thing about this is all you really need to do is slide the battery right in there. You make the slot just slightly smaller than the battery, and your battery is going to sit in there just from the tension of the foam on both sides of it. It's not going to slide forward at all. Now the only trick about this is before you cut this hole in here, you want to make sure that you get your CG correct on the plane. You can do that by just temporarily Velcroing the battery on there, or just setting it on the wing and getting an idea where that center of gravity is going to be, and then marking it, then cut that chunk out. And like I said, your battery is going to slide right in there, and it's going to be held in just by the tension of the foam. And you're not going to see a big clunky battery hanging off the side of it when it's flying by. I love that design. I love the fact that it's got some width to it. This adds a little bit of extra weight, but really, I mean, 8 pieces of 4.5 millimeter foam laminated together with some spray glue is not going to add that much weight. And for me, it adds the weight that I want. I don't build my planes super light. I do not like these super duper light planes. And to this day, it still irks me that people brag how light their plane is. They're flying a 4-ounce plane around that's this big. I mean, you can't fly it anywhere but inside of a building at that point if it's that light. So this really gives the weight that I want, but it's not too much weight. It's not too heavy to where it's not going to fly. So don't worry about the extra weight that laminating this is going to add, because the benefits of being able to easily place your battery and the look you're going to get from building a laminated fuse like this is well worth it. And again, the weight is not a big deal. Another design technique I use I'd like to show you is the tapering down to the tail section. Now in the main section of the fuse I use 8 layers of foam. Now we don't want the tail section to be 8 layers wide, so what I did was I tapered them down. The first 2 pieces are the full length, the second 2 pieces are a little shorter, the next 2 pieces are a little shorter until we get to the final 2 pieces that are the shortest. Now if you really wanted to, you could spackle after every taper, sand it down and get a nice smooth taper. I don't waste my time with that because when this thing's flying you'll never see that taper, and even up close with a nice paint job you can't really see it. The motor mounts on a stick mount. It's basically a 6-inch stick. As you're building the fuse, you basically build the mount into the fuse. I've really become a big fan of these stick mounts with this type of motor mount. This mount basically drops right over top of the stick. You drill a hole right through both sides and you stick a bolt through there, tighten it down, and it's on. Really simple to install, easy to take off, easy to change the motor. All my designs now use the stick mount, whether it's a regular plane like this or a park jet. Now the Aileron Servos, I just glued those right to the bottom of the wing. An alternative installation for those, which I think I'll do in the next one once I crash and destroy this plane, is cut a hole in the wing the exact size of the servo all the way through. Put your servo in so it sits flush with the top of the wing, and then just glue it in from there. Now I've got a decent amount of weight in the back from the push rods and the fact that I'm using Metal Gear servos. So what I did was I mounted the receiver towards the front of the wing. I mounted the ESC as close to the front as possible. Once I got there, I put my battery on here on the wing and just got my basic CG set. Then I cut my hole in the fuse, put the battery in, set the CG, and I was good to go. I'm using an 8.6 prop on this. I really don't want to use anything longer than an 8 because this plane's going to torque roll a lot since the wings are so narrow. What I'm looking for is just a little bit of speed and a little bit of torque. I'm not going to get that really heavy duty torque that I would from like a 9-inch prop, but again, a 9-inch prop makes this thing torque roll really bad. 8 seems to be perfect, so I moved up to like a 6 pitch. So 8.6 seems to run really nice on this. And one quick thing before I go, I do like to give my planes a decent paint job when they're done. I suggest you do the same, but I also try to ride the fine line between giving it a nice paint job and not spending hours on painting it. Believe it or not, I do not have that much time into this paint job. The pinstriping on the sides here probably took me the longest, but painting in general didn't take me that long. That goes for building the planes too. I really don't like to build, never did like to build, but these foam planes are so simple to build. You cut out, 12 pieces of foam, glue it together, put your electronics in, and you're all set. I mean, that's probably a little oversimplification of it, but realistically you could build a plane like this in one night, maybe 2 nights. So any questions, shoot me an email, hollywood@metalaviation.com. That's going to do it for this video, the EMB 312 Turboprop quick overview. The full video with flying footage should be out pretty soon here, next week or so. So stay tuned. Every Tuesday the new video will be out. Make sure you check out the website for anything else, and I'm out. Peace.